Hey now, welcome to the Dirty Side of the Track, America's leading Formula One podcast. I'm Brian, that's Rob. We are so very excited you've joined us on the first week of the off season. We've got great content, we got one great host, and we got Rob. How are you, Rob?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to this great content that you've got because I was looking at the notes and thinking, what the hell are we going to talk about? But
No, it's good
no,
stuff.
it's good stuff. So it is the start of the summer shutdown, which means we don't have a race to review. We don't have a race to preview. So we thought, what's everybody going to want to hear? They are going to want to hear the 2026 calendar power rankings from the dirty side. So we've got you covered from race 24, our worst racetrack on the calendar, up to the prize dirty side numero uno. You're going to hear it here first
Even
today.
if it's a tie, we can't wait to tell you all about it. Yeah.
So, yeah, fair warning, we've both been drinking, so let's see how this one
No.
goes. So, okay, news and social to start with. Then we've got the video vault. Then we've got the Hungarian fantasy to wrap up, plus the
Yes.
halfway title
T-shirt.
championship T-shirt
We're handing
awarding.
out the first half of the year T-shirt.
And then it will be the track rankings of 2026. So let's jump in. And the notes, kind of accidentally, they kind of flow, and you'll see
Yes.
how this goes because
Yeah.
one story kind of flows into the next. So first off, the first thing that crossed my path when I was looking for news this week was early on in the week. Aston Martin have finally resolved their legal dispute with new Chief Technical Officer Enrico Cardile. I'm sure you'll remember this because
Of course.
we
Big
did
news.
it
Big
once,
news.
maybe. Big news. He was Ferrari's chassis technical director. He signed for Aston Martin. Ferrari took legal action and said, "Thou shalt not pass, and you can't go work for them." It's all been a bit of a mess for a long time, and now it's finally resolved. And they said, where is it? A statement from Aston Martin. We are pleased that a resolution has been found and that Enrico can move forward with the team as we look forward to 2026. So there we go. A guy that we probably didn't know who he was
I,
until Ferrari took legal action. We now know is okay to work at Aston.
I do remember us debating Cardile, because
Yeah, that was.
we're nailing it over here. Moving on, Aston. So last week that was one of our stories, right? Coming out of Hungary, it was wild how much better they were. They were back of the pack at Spa, and all of a sudden they were troubling the leaders at Hungary. And we're like, what happened? So Bernie Collins, who's phenomenal, did a deep dive into the reasons between the results, between behind the results, and it's a combo, right, of front wing, new wing, old floor. Like we put a new floor on, it's garbage. We go back to old floor, but new wing, and all of a sudden it's phenomenal. And Lance Stroll was interviewed as he's doing the pit walk, like down to the grid, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't really know." And I'm like, "Yeah, all right. Thanks for telling us nothing." But there's a lot more to it. So Rob, you looked into this. Is it just going back to the old floor but keeping the new wing that made this happen?
Well, this is so Bernie Collins, she said it's a guess that she's looking at this, but from her experience, the old floor wasn't cutting it and the old car wasn't competitive. They tried new stuff, that didn't work. So she said they seems like they've kind of realized that maybe just changing one part of the component would mean that the old floor wasn't as bad as they thought. So it's kind of an upgrade downgrade combo. They're saying, look, people might not realize just how sensitive the cars are to airflow. And if you bring a new wing at the front, which then sends the air correctly under the floor and up into the diffuser, what was once seen as bad floor, bad diffuser, suddenly if it has nice whatever it is, air flowing over it, you suddenly maximize
So
everything. So go on.
I don't know how school is taught for science in the United Kingdom, but here in the old US of A, we have science experiments and we have control groups and we have variable groups. And I know this because I've done my children's science experiments when they don't know what to do. Like, Dad, help. And so I end up, growing plants in the kitchen through three different plastic cups. And so as we do this, the variable group should be limited to the amount of factors you vary. Otherwise, you don't know if the control group had something to do with it. So what happened is
So
Aston
sorry.
Martin had too
See.
many factors in the variable group and not enough limit on the control, and they didn't know what the F they were doing?
No, I
Question?
think I think the boring answer is, you know, going way back to season one when we had Blake on,
Yes.
the ex Red
Friend
Bull
of the show,
engineer.
Blake.
Yeah, friend of the show. He was saying, you know, a lot of people can't get their head around how the computer simulations and the wind tunnel stuff,
That's
how
true.
can that not be right when the car hits the track? It's like, because as good as computer simulations and as good as all the wind tunnels are, the wind tunnel is a rolling road. It doesn't really represent the real car on track. So sometimes they come out of all of this preseason stuff, or when they're developing these parts, going, "Yeah, baby, wait till we strap these bad boys on the car," and then they put it on, and it goes on the track, and they're like, "Oh, well, that was a little bit of a
See, but
disappointment."
if they put me as team principal of Cadillac, who we already have, if Paul's friend Graham is already there, but if they put me in, I would just change one thing at a time in the real world and see how it worked.
So, given how long it takes to develop, deploy, and implement each
No, no,
piece, by the
I
end of a
watch the F1
season,
movie. I
by
could
the
do
end of
four things a week. Four things a week. We prep for battle.
anyway, talking of Hungary, so first we
Yeah.
were talking of Aston, now we're talking of Hungary. What did happen to
Oh my
Charles
God,
and
you and I
Lewis?
spent a lot of time on the phone talking about this week.
Oh, how did a rocket ship that got them to pole position end up looking like an absolute bag of nails?
Honestly,
Now,
in the whole season so far, this has been the weirdest story that's like emerged. What happened to Charles's pace?
yeah, and there's two, and well, and Lewis. So there's a second piece here that I hadn't actually even seen. So the first part, there are two big schools of thought on the internets at the moment about what led to Charles's pace, but they all kind of sort of converge on the same sort of issue that was the car being run too low? Is the Ferrari only in its sweet spot when it's kind of like almost glued to the floor? And then does that mean that you end up with plank wear issues? So you need to lift and coast at the end of straights, or potentially, as one school of thought says, on his second pit stop, fill those tires up wacky races style so that you lift the car off the ground a little bit and avoid the plank wear. Detective George had said this on a radio message that he thought the car looked like it was
It
running
looks
really
very
low.
low. Yeah.
It looked very low. And then later in the race, he noticed how it kind of seemed when he had no pace, didn't seem to be bottoming out and causing as much smoke or sparks off the plank as it had at the beginning. So George, even then on the post race interview, kind of said, I think they were running too low. And I think they were worried about plank wear, so they had to raise the car ride height. The other school of thought, and I'm not an engineer, I don't even know
You're
which
not?
one of these is right. Yeah, I don't
Shocker.
know. I have no idea which one of these is right, if either of them are right. But the other one is similar problem, but actually it's more to do with the suspension arms, and because they're a, I can't remember if they're a push or a pull or what even the difference is between the
Just
two, but
rods.
just rods. The rods that they
Rod veil.
introduced, the new. That's so bad. You knocked me right off my school of thought
Keep
here.
going.
Oh my gosh. The new suspension they introduced in Spa was compromised. It wasn't strong enough, and it started to basically be, I guess, started to bend. If is the least technical term that I have. They couldn't change it in time, and that compromised nature carried over into Hungary, and the suspension went wrong, and blah 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 blah. I don't like that one because it doesn't seem right that I think it might have been Alex Brundle commented and said, no, if the suspension's going to get compromised by
Yeah.
the downforce of Spa's going to break it. It won't be half broken and then last half
Right.
a race at Hungary and
I
then fall
agree.
apart. So
I still think it's a floor. I
anyway,
think it's a plank. I think it was plank, and I think they did a lift and coast situation. They rode the cars low so that they'd be at least frisky at some points. And Charles was like, well, just tell me if you're going to do that. So I know what I'm going into. But regardless.
and that may be backed up by, again, we didn't hear this, I don't think, on team radio, but all the team radio transcripts are available. They're saying that Lewis was being told to lift and coast from as early as lap 4.
Crazy.
So Hungary, in order to be able to get that move done in the DRS down the main straight, you've kind of got to have a, what do they say it was over a lap? However many second delta to try to get yourself into a position to do the overtake. If you're lifting and coasting at the end of every straight, you ain't ever getting into overtake positions. So who knows? We might never know what happened, but what we can all agree on is Ferrari went from looking really, really fast in practice. They nailed pole position in qualifying. They took off like a rocket with Charles at the beginning, and then
I will say I was very proud of myself when I named the pits as Ferrari's strategy. And then you thought about it, and we recorded right after the podium. And you thought about it. Yeah, I agree. And then the whole world agreed with us after they listened to our pod.
basically, yeah. Right. Okay. This story includes the name of that person that we keep mentioning. We don't
Nicholas
really know who he
Timbasis.
is.
We have to get him
Yeah.
on.
So anyway, looks like the two-stopper rule for Monaco is being retained for 2026, but maybe it isn't. Question?
question?
So they've said that it is. James Vowell was interviewed and he said he wasn't happy with it and he hated the way they needed to play the game in Monaco of if you had both of your cars close together on track, just have the second one go super, super, super slow so that the lead car could get a pit stop ahead. And he said, for the record, we weren't the first to do it. We had to react to the field. I didn't like it. It's the most uncomfortable I've ever felt in Formula One. I want to go out there and fight for points on merit rather than to have to game the system in order to achieve it. Was it a better show, irrespective of my feelings? I can't answer that, but I think for the fans, my personal feeling is I don't like the lack of clean racing action that occurs as a result of it.
I don't like, so I said it then, I'll say it again. Any race where you don't go as fast as you can is a disaster. I almost said another word with an S that was a swear, but we're a clean pod. You can't do that. And I was actually at a dinner tonight before we're recording late in the evening with some friends, a couple F1 fans, a couple not. And I was explaining how Monaco, and because I said we're going to talk about the best tracks next year. And Monaco is the worst racing, but has something to it. So it's not the bottom, but it's not the top. And I said, they explained this two-stopper. I said, it's the only race in the history of me watching where people went as slow as they could on purpose, and it worked.
Yeah. So, our future guest is kind of taking a little bit of a step back because there's this whole like, how was this even voted in? Like, Vowles was casting sort of doubt on how did this motion get carried. And anyway, so Tom Bazit, what's his name?
Nicholas Timbasis. Welcome
There
to the
we
pod,
go.
Nicholas. You've already been drafted in.
Said the Monaco rule repeat wasn't set in stone just yet, but has invited the 10 teams to come up with a more palatable solution to make the processional street race more entertaining. So, in other words, it sounds like a little bit of an ultimatum. We're out of ideas, so we're just going to copy paste the two stopper unless any of you bright sparks can come up with something new. That
Run
sounds like a
it
challenge to dirty siders. I think
backwards.
we have run it.
I've done this twice. Run it backwards. I'm running out of gas.
You really are, aren't you? You're done with that story. He ran out of
Next.
gas. It's done. Okay. The title race we didn't expect. We were all debating Oscar versus Lando, but the real title is who's going to take the title of Best Rookie.
Yes.
And I think, had you asked us about a month ago, me and Brian were all in Team Hadjar because
Totally.
he's just been brilliant.
And if you'd
But-
gone a month before that, we would have said Team Kimmy.
I don't think we ever thought Kimi was great this season.
I did for the first
Did you?
5 races. Loved him.
Okay. And then
But we were Team Isaac together. We went to Canada. We
Yeah.
got the tattoos and the whole thing.
yeah, and we shouted at him and he looked at us and finger gunned us. It was all amazing.
And then he fixed his junk for 5 minutes and got in the car.
Let's leave this, Brian. Come on. But Bortoletto is
Yes.
doing a late charge. I say late. We're only halfway through, just over halfway through the season. But last few races, Bortoletto is definitely putting his name in there for best rookie. Now, there have been a number of polls that have been run at the moment, and it's these two that are running away with it. They're taking all the votes. And surprisingly, Colapinto is not featuring on any
Nope, none.
vote right now. Now, he's still got just under half a season. If he put in a blinder now and won every race to the end of the season, I'm sure we'd all vote
Won every
Colapinto.
race.
But
Kimmy was good for a bit. It's not working for him with that Mercedes right now. We love Isaac, and we've talked about Bortoletto a lot. Can we give Liam a little credit? He's made that RB look pretty good the last 2 or 3 races. I know that's not enough to say you're rookie of the year, but he's not a slouch in the last 2 or 3 races.
No, he's not. I wonder if he just gets treated a little differently. That he was chosen
demoted
to be the
from
golden
Red
boy.
Bull to I agree.
He was put up into the Red Bull and then kicked back down.
I agree,
again.
but that's not his problem. He's given the
Yeah,
car.
it is.
2 races?
given the car
2 races. He had 2 races. Yuki's had like 12. He still looks terrible. And I love Yuki.
You were singing his praises last week and last
I
couple
still
of weeks
love
for
him.
getting right back up there with Max. He's not
Love him.
miles behind anymore.
Love him. So this stat's been brewing a bit from the great Az. And since we really don't play a lot of stats anymore because we're recording so fast, let's get a little slap house in here for this. That's also my ringtone when Rob calls, and he called me this week, and it was so great. All right, so Az sent us this stat and sent us videos, and so Az, shout out, credit, kudos, don't be mad at us. Anyway, Lewis Hamilton has 48 races in a row where he did not retire, a 48 race finishing streak, which is phenomenal. Max Verstappen has a 43 race finishing streak. But if you look right behind them in P3, Oscar Piastri, 41 races in a row that he has finished. That is a great streak. No crashes, no technical problems. He finished 41 races in a row. 2 more to tie Max, 7 more to tie Lewis on the all-time finished list. I mean, again, we're in an era where the amount of technical problems is a lot lower than had been in the past. And yes, especially at the end of the regs, it's a little boring when 20 cars finish, or 19 this last time, whatever it may be. Regardless, I love this because Oscar is battling wheel to wheel with people. He's locking up, sliding right past Lando's diffuser, but he still finishes the race. So we will keep an eye on that. And our friend Franco Crashapinto doesn't take a day off. Did the first half of the season, 14 races, end? Yes. Did Franco say, you know what? I'm not really done. I'm doing the Pirelli tire test at Hungary. I'm a crash. And he did. Thank you, Franco. It's wild. Rob and I have talked a lot about Franco trying to minimize the crash damage. So much so, it's taking him, it seems, out of races, out of contention, out of being a competent race driver. But he didn't want to crash. So he said, you know what, I'm going to take last year's car, and I'm going to bin this thing like no one's seen in a while. And he did at Hungary, as he did. So anyway, I just thought I'd point that out.
Yeah, I saw that, and he did it quite early, didn't he, on day two? So like
Very
Alpine
early.
lost almost all of their running on those tires. So
Yeah,
oh
but
well.
Pirelli really needed the data on
Well,
next
it's
year's
Pirelli that
tires.
need it.
It's
Yeah,
the
true. But
2026 tires, and like they said, well, Franco will make it around the whole time, right? Wrong.
and then something that's not really F1 related. This is a very tenuous link, but I saw it and liked it. Was that Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison? His former 1997 McLaren F1 is off to auction at Sotheby's, and it's apparently a chassis number 62 is one of just 7 McLaren F1s exported to the US. It has less than 6,500 miles on it, so it's one of 106 built in Woking, and it's also believed never to have been modified to meet federal safety and emissions approval. So it's a raw engine straight out the factory. Back in 1997 at launch, this thing went for $1 million. It's expected to go in excess of $23 million when it goes to auction.
One of my favorite cars of all time, road cars, seriously, top 5 all time. Gordon Murray, amazing car. He's done so much in F1. He makes road going cars. This is tremendous. The best story of all time is Jay Leno, car guy, who I actually watched this week because I went down the Max Verstappen, Chris Harris rabbit hole, and then I followed the GTD, and we'll talk about this in a second. So anyway, point is, Jay Leno, McLaren F1, many years ago. It's a 3-seater. The driver's in the middle,
Yeah.
passengers sort of recessed. And he pulls up to a car show, and there's these guys there who love the McLaren, and they're tough-looking guys. I mean, they got tattoos, they got big muscles, T-shirts that don't match everyone else's $1 million cars. And they go, "Can you take us for a ride?" And Jay's like, "Yeah, okay, I guess so, okay." And he takes them for a ride. He's like, "I'm gonna get killed. Like this is how my life ends. These guys jack me and take my McLaren F1." They go, "Can you punch it a little?" And Jay goes, "Of course." And he does, and he gets pulled over, and the police pull him over. And he's like, "Oh my God, I'm going to jail. I got gangbangers in the car. I'm speeding." The police pull up, and these are undercover cops. They pull out their badges, like, "We're with Mr. Leno," and they let him go free. And the guy's like, "Thanks for the ride, Mr. Leno." Greatest story in the history of Jay Leno's channel. Didn't know you were getting that tonight, did you, Vale?
No, I didn't. That's fantastic, and it won't take me too long to edit that out either, so no one else needs to hear it. Um, joking.
Right.
Okay, so we're making up content this week because it is the summer shutdown, and actually realized that quite a lot of people don't really understand what the summer
Yeah.
shutdown
It's a big
means and
deal.
why is it, it's okay, so it's a break and it's a little bit longer than the little mini break we had a few races ago. Wrong. It's an official shutdown. So I took this from good old Terry at Coffee Corner Motorsport. If you don't follow him, give him a follow, go to his website. He
Friend
did a
of the
nice little
show.
breakdown. Yeah, friend of the show, been on once, hopefully coming on again soon. A nice little breakdown of what it means. So what is it? So every team must close for 14 straight days, which means no development, no simulations, no upgrades. They can't design any new parts. They can't run the sim. They can't even talk about making the car faster. I'm not quite sure how that's policed. I mean,
They're watching their Slack
Uh,
channels.
yeah, and no performance work. There is only one little tiny caveat that if there is a quote unquote seriously damaged car they need to repair, they are allowed to lodge an official request to the FIA. So, like, if Alpine needed to fix Colapinto's car that was being run around for the Pirelli test, which they don't because it was an old one, but if they did, if it was all in bits,
They still may want to
they're
fix
allowed
it.
to
I mean, they
do.
use it for something.
But I'm sure they won't break
Yeah,
the
yeah.
summer shutdown for that one. So what can they do? Really, it's kind of all the non-motorsport staff are still allowed to be there. They can deep clean the factory, so they can send the cleaners in to give a little bit of polish. They can upgrade the office infrastructure, so they can upgrade to Windows 11 or something. Uh, they can
I
fix
thought you
IT
meant actually the
systems.
Windows infrastructure, like with new blinds.
Oh yes, some nice drapes. But they can't touch the car. They can't outside of that special seriously damaged dispensation. They literally can't do anything. And the main reason for it is right now it cuts costs in the cost cap era. That's a hard sentence to say. But actually, it's about protecting the people. It really is because especially now when we're in a 24 race calendar where people are like away all the time
Yep.
on planes, different countries all the time. They're basically saying it's just a 14-day period where they can just go home. Just go home, unplug, and relax. Now, a little bit maybe ironically, I did see that one of the folk that we follow on Threads was kind of saying when you get home on an F1 break, chances are the first thing you end up doing is jumping on a plane to go on vacation with your family because you haven't seen them all year. But it's a different type of trip. It's
Yeah.
less, it's still a
fun.
vacation. But bizarrely, the first thing you do after hauling ass around the globe for all those 14 races or whatever is unpack your work stuff, pack your beachwear, jump on another plane. But yeah,
I
I mean,
get
but
it.
they need it. They need it. I mean, go and sit on a beach for 14 days and just unwind and forget about lugging tires around a pit lane.
And while you're sitting on that beach, what should you watch on your iPad? Let's talk about the video vault.
That was smooth.
Smooth operator.
You can't teach that, Brian. That was
Can't
smooth.
teach it. That's learned. All right. So this came out a couple of days ago, and I was taking a little break from work for 30 minutes, and I stepped downstairs to eat. It was nice, and I turned on YouTube and the Face Mash Challenge. Grill the Grid, Episode 1, Formula 1 channel, 24 minutes was on. 24 minutes. I said I took a 30-minute break. I had a 30-minute window. I'd made a little food. Started watching this. I was almost late to my next meeting because I loved it. It was so good. This was great. Fun to play along at home because what they do is they take 3 parts of a face of an F1 driver: forehead, eyes, and below the eyes, mouth, nose,
Chin and mouth, yeah.
Yeah. And so it was great. And the drivers nearly unanimously always got stuck on the same chin and mouth. And I'm like, Riccardo Patrese. That's not Riccardo Patrese? I'm like, what? And then they all said this. I mean, it was like phenomenal. So
They all said the same. The thing I loved about this was that there was ones where they all unanimously said that a body part or a face part was some different driver than who it was, but they
Yeah.
would all pick the same wrong one,
Right.
and then spend time debating.
It should
with
be
the
them.
quizmaster. No, that is.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember who it was, but the one they got stuck on. But let's just say it was Ocon. No, that is Ocon, and they were like, no, it's not.
The hair
yes, it is. That
of
is.
Oscar.
Oh, Oscar Piastri, the hair. Where
Yeah.
they spent all that time. That's
It's
Oscar.
George
No,
Russell.
it's not. It's George, and then it's like, oh my gosh,
We've given away.
But
We've spoiled the
we've
Face
spoiled
Mash
one of them,
Challenge.
yeah. But one piece on this, actually 2 points on this. One is just like we always say on these Grill the Grids, it's the competitive nature of them. It's Oscar on a mission that doesn't even want to engage in small talk with the host. It's like flip the sheet, blah blah blah, next.
How
Blah,
are you
blah,
scoring
blah,
this?
next.
Total
Yeah.
points, 1 at a time, or 3 a picture? So anyway,
But without spoiling it too much,
yeah, you already
I
have.
just want to say that there is a certain driver who we see quite early on get the 0 second countdown, meaning that they ran out of time. We get to then see the rest of the grid almost go through about what feels like another 10
Yes.
pages of photos, which means that this driver was so slow, they only got to about page number 3 before they ran out of time. You know how I'm talking
I
about.
do.
I'm not going to spoil it. But it was, I loved it.
I'm happy
I
you
watched
liked it
this
too.
morning.
Yeah. So good. You definitely need to watch it. And then Last week, Rob highlighted the Max Verstappen, Chris Harris video on the Mustang GTD, obviously Ford being the engine supplier for Red Bull next season. I watched it, loved it. I finally saw it. It is worth the 38 minutes or whatever it is. It's long, it's almost a feature film, but it is worth it. I will say this. I then fell in love with the Mustang GTD, and I'm like, well, tell me more. Tell me more. Did you get very far? And so, all the Grease fans, that's for you. And so then I watched the Jay Leno and Jim Farley video, who's the CEO of Ford. And the two of them went around in Jay Leno's car, which was amazing. And then to close out the vault, nothing too serious. Lollipop Man and the best reactions from Hungary were great. I love them. Although I would say Lollipop Man was good. Best reactions was great because he agreed with me on the Ferrari strategy. Rob, you have a comment. You're itching.
We have to include one that I told you we had to include, and you haven't put it on here.
I know, but I already gave him a shout out earlier. But
he
all right,
shout out, but the
he didn't send me
video
this one. I don't have this. You just
I'll forward it on to you then because we'll put it in the notes so that people can get there. There is a meme, which is "Fast Car" by Tracy Chapman. But AI has changed Tracy Chapman into Lewis Hamilton, and all the background imagery as it's going on about I need a fast car is showing flashbacks to him being in a Mercedes and then looking sorrowfully at the Ferrari. It is absolute genius. Whoever did this,
I didn't get this.
It's an Instagram reel. I will forward it on to you, and we'll put it in the video vault because Az sends us a lot. Yeah, you do, Az. You know you do. But this one is gold. So keep them coming, Az, if they're of this quality. So now you can close the video vault.
Which I shall do. All right. I know everybody's been waiting to find out who won the fantasy first half T-shirt. But
was it me? Was it me? Did I win it?
No.
Oh.
All right. The Hungarian Grand Prix. First, let's talk about who won that because it was still calculating projected points, potential points, all of the different points, but nothing real. Switch to plan B, Michael Cronje. Michael, great job, man. I mean, he's phenomenal. The number one formula, Tony, F1 Fantasy Tools, F1FantasyTools.com, Papaya Rules, Pato, Deep Dish and DNF's Adam, Chris Zuzu from Kookie, Nui Team Who It Is, Peter Schumann, High Fives from Sahidi, at Yank the Mike, Box1, Patrick, and then we get into the template, Dabieski, Bartek, Fanamp, Fancy HQ, Adam, Nothing Just an Incident, Ryan, San Gaucho, Asir, Yank It Back from Australia, Mike. All right, that's Hungary, but the real question is, who is the one? Who has won the first half? It's F1 Fantasy Tools, F1FantasyTools.com, 3,333 points, just ahead of Box1 Patrick at 3316. So F1 Fantasy Tools, reach out to us on Gmail or Twitter or Carrier Pigeon, however you like, reach out. We will send you a Dirty Side t-shirt. Congrats on the first half win. And I'd be remiss if I did not point out there are still 2 American races in the second half. T-shirts for each race weekend. B, there's a t-shirt for the end of the year champion, and no one can win a second t-shirt. So if Fantasy Tools wins again, we go to the second place. And when I win one of the American races, which I will, we'll go to the second place because I already have a Dirty Side t-shirt.
I don't think we'll need to worry about invoking that rule. By the way, I just want to double check on something because you know how some people out there, some toxic people, will label DTS fans as being scum. Or you're a typical DTS fan. You only found it through that DTS program, fans. And okay. You just gave the same disdain in your voice as you were giving out the scores. You got down, you're blah 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 blah, and then we come to the template.
Yeah, the template gets disdain.
Oh, the template. Why? Why wouldn't it be natural that people gravitate towards that? There will be a certain set of people which are in a certain popular budget bracket that the best they can afford is X. That's going to happen, right?
Do you really want my answer?
Why dismiss them as?
Do you really want my answer?
People? Not really, but go
on. That's the worst ever. Please tell me what to say next. All right. If I were choosing the way that drivers would finish, the best finishing positions, that makes sense to me. If you told me there was math involved with overtakes or positions gained, I go, all right, that makes sense to me. But if you tell me the budget matters and the budget grows based on factors from 3 races ago, 2 races ago, 1 race ago, to your point, algebra, the
Fantasy
algorithm.
algebra. Yeah.
I disagree with the point, and the template is no longer about winning races or doing well in races. It's how'd you do 2 races ago, 1 race ago, 3 races ago. So I love fantasy, F1 fantasy, but this season is not quite right for me.
And that's fair. That is fair. So you defended your point well, which is good preparation now because we're probably both going to have to defend our own points of
Yes,
view
can't
here,
wait for this
where
part. Can't wait for this
we are
part.
going to take on the 2026 power rankings
Can't
of all
wait.
24 circuits.
Yes.
We're mulling over how to go about this. We've decided to go for good old, top 100 Billboard approach, where we will count down in reverse. We independently ranked all 24 tracks, and we sort of said, don't just rank it on the racing it delivers. You're allowed to factor in, even if you want to, the scenery, the
Yes.
venue.
Yeah.
Is it a beautiful track, even if the racing isn't as good? And then
What's the
maybe
experience?
exactly. And then also the third factor was, and any other kind of little, whether it's sentimental reasons or stories you like. Do you like groundhogs appearing on the track, lizards appearing on the track? Do you like the fact it always rains? So it's kind of those three factors. We ranked every track from 1 through 24, then compared the results, came up with an average. So we'll go through it from an average perspective.
But I would just say
But
this. When Rob and I were talking about it, I did realize that this clip would be used.
I am stupid. I am stupid.
We did our best. We did our best. And I'm assuming at the end, Rob will look at me and say,
Thank you, Brian.
so that's a lot of Charles radio. I'm sorry. It's relevant.
yeah, we'll see if I will say that or not, because there might be a
Not.
couple of. So what we also did, and where we'll pause on some of these, is if our rankings were very, very similar. We'll discuss that track
Yeah,
and
move
why
on,
we
yeah.
put it where we put it, and then we'll move on. But there are a handful, about 5 tracks where our rankings were massively different from each other. So we'll
Yes.
probably debate those ones a little bit more to understand why I'm right and Brian's wrong.
That sounds fair. Even though you're going to be wrong and I'm going to be right. But here we go. The 2026 Formula One tracks ranked according to Rob and Brian. Last on the grid, taking up the worst spot, 24, is the 20th race of the season, Mexico, the Hermanos Rodriguez track. We both hate that track. I put it dead last. Rob had it in 23rd. Not much more to talk about. It's terrible. The racing's terrible. We want to sit in the stadium. Outside
That
of
was
that,
the only redeeming
goodbye.
factor. The reason it wasn't dead last for me was because I want to sit in the baseball stadium and watch cars come past a baseball stadium. I'd love to do that once.
Yeah.
I might not stay for the entire race. I might
No.
just watch a few laps and
Well,
then
there's
leave.
the podiums in there, so you'd stay.
Yeah, okay. So then moving up a spot, 23rd, we have the Mad Ring in Madrid.
Although it's a
Brian was-
tie.
Yeah, it was a tie. I mean, technically it tied with Mexico, but...
Nope.
sorry, tied with the next one up that we're going to go
Yep.
with. But Brian was a bit more generous on this one.
I
I
was.
actually rated this dead last purely because we've never seen it.
Never
it's
seen
an
it.
unknown.
And a street
it's a street
circuit.
track, and I
Yep.
hate street tracks.
You do.
So I just went, it's a street track I've never seen that looks like it's being built around an IKEA in Madrid. It's going to look terrible. It's going to be in an enterprise
But-
park, and it's going to suck the first year we go there. So I went dead last. But
I went 21st, but I did that because Abu Dhabi and Hungary have proven year over year to be terrible. So I'm like, it's got a chance. Vegas ain't that bad. Upside down pig. So I'm giving the Madrid a chance. But yes,
Okay.
it tied for second to last with Abu Dhabi. Rob and I were pretty uniform that this is pretty bad. It's the last race of the season. And again, I've used this analogy 2 years in a row. It's like your lover is going away for 6 months on a train, and you give them a kiss and a big fart at the same time. And that's what Abu Dhabi is.
And we've called it. I went back because I did some research behind this. I actually went back to some of the tracks. Okay, little disclaimer here. I'm not a Formula One nerd that really, really, really remembers races really well. I kind of have a gut feel of where I think I've remembered good races. So because my memory is not fantastic, I've used our good old pokey little pod now that we've been going for 3 full seasons. And I went back and I listened to a few little sound bites of our reviews of some of these Grand Prix to just get my head in the right space. We've called Abu Dhabi the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix twice out of 3 reviews so far.
Nailed
So that's why it's down the bottom. Hungaroring was tied as next. So we both agreed that it's just usually boring, and this year's one was maybe a little bit more interesting than it usually is, but it wasn't enough to save it a spot from any lower down. I was a bit more generous, actually. I had Hungaroring 19th and you had 22nd. Are
But
you
it
keeping note
tied.
of where we actually are at the moment? With
Yeah, it
I
tied with
realized,
Qatar.
yes, it did tie with Qatar, which you had as 20th and I had as 21st. So we both agreed that Qatar, there's the last two races of the season, Qatar and Abu Dhabi just don't leave us on a high. They kind of,
Yeah.
it's a damp squib, as they say. Yeah.
So we've gone Mexico, we've gone Madrid, we've gone Abu Dhabi and Hungary and Qatar. And now we have no tie involved Singapore. And so the hard part is for me and Rob, at least I'll speak for myself, Singapore, you want to like it. It's a difficult track for the drivers, nighttime, street track, in the city. It's almost a figure eight, but they don't actually touch. And then you're like, but the racing is hella boring. So what
We
would you
called one
say?
of the episodes Singapore, as in P-O-O-R. So, yeah, I know. So I agree. So where did that bring us next? The next one up is one. In fact, the next two are we're going to hit ones where we had our biggest delta.
Yeah.
So what position? See, we didn't number these. We
18.
ordered them by
This is
the
18.
averages. This is going to be 18th. Okay, so I'm glad you're paying attention, Brian. 18th on the list is Miami.
Oh, geez.
Now, Brian actually had this as 19. I had this as high as 14 on my list.
14? What is wrong
know.
with you?
And I think there may be a little trend coming up on this, but I'll keep my powder dry on that one till later. But I've enjoyed all the races here. If I divorce myself away from all the haters that want to talk about plastic water and overinflated prices of food and all the crap that doesn't matter to me because I just want to see cars race, I think we've had good races here. I actually really enjoy it. Now, not enough to put it in my top 10 and my top 5, but yeah, 14th for me was a decent spot for Miami. I thought.
So I, as the resident American on America's leading Formula One podcast, I want to deliver for the F1 fans. I want people all over the globe to say America knows what they're doing. And when we launched the Miami track around a stadium, it's a parking lot track. We're redoing the Caesars Palace parking lot Grand Prix. Yeah, we are. It may not be a zigzag.
Was awful, and the racing was terrible.
I watched it being built every year. I went down there every 6 months, visited my in-laws, drove down there with my whole family.
What was the racing like?
The first couple of years of racing sucked because the tarmac was bad. They were trying to figure out how to make it work. And I agree, it's better now.
Second year didn't, and this year was good.
Wrong.
See, I think you're just down on it because
you're wrong.
You want USA to put a better show on than you think.
I do, but I'll cheese it up with Vegas. But it's better now.
You won't. That's going to be one of our big debates. You won't.
I will. So next after Miami is Spain, and so this is where I love it and Rob hates it. This is one of our biggest 20th, gaps.
And yeah, you had it as 13th favorite, and I was. This is the most boring,
like a crab.
Boring race on the season. They test there all the time. We've never had a good race. It's just awful.
Why?
You watch free practice one. You've basically seen the race because that's as exciting as it's going to get.
Oh come on,
they just know it inside out. We never see any good racing here.
I feel like
we haven't reviewed in our 4 years a good Spanish Grand Prix yet.
We've been doing this 4 years. I've been stuck with you for 4 years. I've been saddled with your British ass for 4 years.
Yeah, so because of that, when like the scenery, it's not really that great a track to see the background in.
But it's a good track. They test there for a reason. It tests cars. It's a good race.
It doesn't
it's a good
test
track.
Racing. It's not a good race. It's never been a good race. It won't be a good race, and that's where they're dropping.
Let's go to 16. At 16, we have Saudi. Interestingly, Rob and I aren't that far apart. Yeah,
14th and 15th. Yeah, I like Jeddah.
It's good.
Monaco,
track.
It's Monaco at speed. It delivers some decent racing. It doesn't quite live up to what I always think it should do. I think because it's such a high-speed track, it should deliver better racing than it does. But for me, it was kind of, where are we, 15 out of 24? Yeah, kind of middle of the pack track.
Well, Saudi 16, but okay.
Whatever. I mean, no, when I rated it 15th, when
I
was putting it 15th in my listings, I was like,
I have it 14th. I can't disagree too much. It's fine. As I call it, Monzico. It's Monaco at Monza speeds, but with walls. And it scared the crap out of me as someone who wants to watch every driver walk away from the race. But now I'm used to it, and it's not as bad. There's no Latifis. There's no Mazepins out there to like and Mike and Mick Schumachers to rip the cars in half. Like, yeah, it's all right. But following that is Vegas, and this is another big, big, big delta. So Vegas is 15th for the combined dirty side on the way up. I have it as 18th. Rob has it as 11th. So we have a 7-spot delta. You love Vegas.
I love the Vegas race. And you know,
Why?
and again, this might be that you are too sensitive, maybe, about how you think the outside world is viewing
Sensitive.
it in.
No
But
one who knows me would call me that.
Mm, or maybe you're overthinking it. Is that something of the word?
That's
I
a
could
thing
use?
I do.
So, so what do I want from Vegas? I want the North American version of Monaco. I want the glamour, the glitz. I want the strip. I want all the flash. I want the sphere. I want all the razzmatazz. Does it deliver? 100%. Then I want good racing. And despite everybody throwing shade on it and calling it an upside down pig, we've had good races here. Even though the first one had the manhole cover that acted like a
Carlos
missile
Sainz's
through
car was
Sainz's
straight,
car.
yeah.
Yeah. We've had great racing. We had the Max and Charles Leclerc battle. We've had just good racing here. So for me, okay, if you don't like American cheese, then you're not going to score this very highly. But this is everything I want a Vegas race to deliver: the glamour, the glitz, and action on track. And it gives it me in bucket loads. I was close to putting it in my top 10.
What?
But everything, but there's 10 other tracks that mean that I can't. But I'm actually here for Vegas. I love it. I think I'd love to go there. I'd have to remortgage my house to go there,
Me
but
too.
it's the only downside on it. I think is the access maybe. But I'm here for Vegas, baby.
So
So come on, Debbie Downer. Why do you hate Vegas? 18th. You've basically, other than Qatar and Abu Dhabi and Mexico, you've got it as one of your worst tracks on the circuit.
I do. I mean, I like it and I enjoy it. What you're doing is turning the second half of, or the second third of our tracks into bad tracks. I love all the tracks. As long as we know go to Mexico, Paul Ricard, and Abu Dhabi, I'm the happiest guy. I'm a pig in slop. But do I hold, again, American tracks to a higher standard so we don't embarrass ourselves? Like, before Drive to Survive, before Vegas, before Miami, it was a secret handshake club here. And, like, I knew one other F1 fan. When I met you, Rob, and what did I say? I said, hey, you've got a British accent. Do you like F1? Because I wanted to know if you were an F1 fan.
What's that got to do with Vegas being
Vegas
good or not?
brings in bad racing, and people think it's good. Now, I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm not done. It's better than I thought it would be. We've had 2 races that I've enjoyed watching. I love the back straight. Pierre's car goes exploding because, all of a sudden the Alpine can't handle the DRS on the back straight. I like the corners. I like the racing. I like the crazy introductions. Sergio Checo Perez. Do I still have that? That was like 400 years ago. Here it is. I still have it.
Sergio Checo Perez!
God awful, just horrible Vegas stuff. Fine, it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not my favorite.
Well, you are 18th. I mean, that
I
stinks
like
the
them
house
all,
out, doesn't it?
If I had 20 children, I'd like them. The other 4, I'd drop off at the fire station and move on.
Okay, moving on. We next have Albert Park, Australia. Again, I like this a little bit more than you. 4-place delta.
Pretty
I had it
close,
12th.
yeah.
You had it 16th. It's
The
close.
racing's fine. I got no problems.
The racing's fine, exactly. Then again, moving up, we've got Zandvoort. I had 13th. You had 15th. Again,
And that's our 13th
nothing in it.
track.
So
Yep.
13th. Then we come to Delta.
This is our 12th track. We're now entering the top half.
Coming close to the top 10. We have China. And China is only up at this lofty height because Brian ranked it his 10th favourite.
That's me.
And I ranked it the 17th.
I love it.
Because I went back. A couple that we've reviewed, we've just called them processions. Not much action at the front, and we're looking for midfield action if we can find it. It's got a lot of DRS overtakes. It just doesn't float my boat. That's all I'm going to say. I know
That's
you love
fair.
it, which is fine.
I do. I love the fact there are 2 straights in the back right before the home finish straight. And I know the shorter one coming up isn't technically a straight, but I love the long back straight. You turn the corner to the right, 90 degrees. It's still a straight. And then before you get to the home stretch, Oh, I love the fact that there are overtakes right before the start-finish line. I love the fact that turn one is this wide corner where it's like 2 cars wide, and people go, all right, I'll make it 3 cars wide. I really enjoy it. If I could pick a track that isn't as popular to go to, it would be China for me. I would love to go to the Shanghai circuit. It's just fascinating to me. Is it the best racing every year? No. And that's why it's below Bahrain, where we once again have a
Oh,
massive
my
delta.
gosh.
And once again, I'm the fan
I
and
need
you're
you
not.
to explain. I
Why?
really need you to
What is
explain
wrong
yourself
with
here.
you? Are you
Right,
broken as a
no.
person?
Well, so I had this as 16th. So again, it's midfield for me.
It's
right?
11th
You had
in
it
our
s-
aggregate ranking.
Yeah, and you have it 7th in your
Yeah.
inside your top 10. But the reason I need you to explain this
Please.
is that
What do you need?
this year, when we recorded the Saudi Arabia review, and we were neither of us were really that in love with it. You said something along the lines of, would I record a tape of it and send it to my friends to get them into F1?
You said
No.
Saudi.
No,
or Bahrain.
we were reviewing Saudi,
Yeah.
and you said, would I and we didn't like the Jeddah race, and you said, would I record this and send it to a friend of mine if I was trying to get them into F1? He said no. But was it better than last week's dud in Bahrain? Yes. That was this year's view. So with that, you said Bahrain was the dud this year.
Yes.
Last year, you hated Bahrain so much, and you're going to remember this now, that following that race, you renamed us to a
Pickleball
pickleball podcast,
I remember
right?
this. Yeah.
So
Do you know
and
why?
I'm with you, right? So both of these races have been duds. The previous year was a dud. So we've had 3 years that we reviewed it. It's been a dud. There's no real redeeming factors about like the scenery or anything. So why have you got it 7th?
I've got it 7th because Bahrain has so many historical, amazing races. Have they all been recently? No. But Checo won his first race in Bahrain. It was a crazy race. He was last on the first lap. There was a huge crash. It was amazing to watch. He won. I cried. He cried. Podium, winner, champion. We all cried. God bless Checo. And then we ran the short in 2020. And we said, hey, if George in a Williams is as good, what can he do in a Mercedes? And Lewis is like, I have COVID. And George's like, I can run. And they ran the short, and it was chaos. And Valtteri and George had each other's tires. And God bless America. I watched it from here, Bahrain. The short is great. Sakir, it's the name of my interior of my car. It's Sakir Orange. The racing is phenomenal, except for maybe last year.
And the
It's
year
the
before.
cheapest race to go to. Someone who doesn't like F1 named Downey went to the race, and it was fun to watch him do it. And I'm like, I like it. 7th.
Okay, so
But for us
do you know
overall,
what?
11th.
11th, just outside our top 10. And do you know what? I'm happy to concede that and give you, because we said it wasn't just about the racing. If you had other stories that
Yes,
bumped it
yes,
up.
yes,
So
yes.
you have your Checo moment. You fell in love with
short,
the short.
yes.
Many, many times people here are probably fed up with you going on about the short, but
I have to be quiet.
But it's
'cause
fine.
They got to
It's
run
fine.
it
That-
again for me.
exactly. So you love it. I'm all in on that, Brian. You have a reason to love it. I don't. It was one of our biggest differences. 9-spot difference, 16th,
biggest.
7th,
Yeah.
and it came in at 11th, just outside our top 10. So I'm sure everyone's going to want to know, what is the Dirty Side top 10? So I feel like we should have some of that countdown music in at number 10. But
I mean, I've
you
got
want to
random
introduce
music.
number 10?
I'll do it. It's Austria. We've reached the Red Bull Ring, and Rob has it 9th. I have it 12th. We both agree it's a good race. It's a good track. We'd both like to spend time in a lounge chair in the hills
On the
watching
hill,
cars
yeah.
go around. In Canada, Rob and I multiple times met multiple people, and we're like, have you ever been to Austria? You ever sat in a lounge chair in the hills and watched it go around? And they were like, no. We're like, we should all do that. We were under
I'm
the
with you,
influence of
Brian.
Heineken.
Yeah, I'm with you because this to me has got a few things in each of the categories that pushes it up there. Do love the racing here because it's such a short track,
Yes.
which means we do like a million laps of this place, which means we always seem to be at that, whatever it is, turn 1 and turn 4, or, the 2 lunges that you can do
Right.
at the inside. So you don't have to wait for 3-4 minutes for them to come back round and have another overtaking opportunity. The track, what was it, about a minute 8 or whatever a lap time
Yeah,
is
we
here?
actually just, like with Monaco, just went under 70. So like we were at 68, I think, for this one.
Yeah, so I love the fact that it's kind of relentless. It's such a small circuit that they're coming around so often back to those overtaken zones. The scenery is gorgeous,
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
and we've
The
had
Red
some
Bull Ring is
amazing
amazing.
story. Yeah, and we've had some amazing storylines down here. We've had the Lando Max collision and George scooping up the pieces and going, "I'll take that win." I mean, so for me, it just had. Is it the best track on the circuit? No, but did it have enough in each of those three things we were scoring to kind of push it up into my top 10? Yeah, yeah, it kind of did. So I'm happy it finished 10th. I was glad to see that you rated it pretty highly as well.
So it's 12 for me, and I do like it. I do enjoy the racing. I do like. There's no like complicated corners. So on video games, phenomenal. But moving on from there, our
Number
ninth
9.
track is Monaco. And this is a hard one. Rob had it 8, I had it 11. Again, from this point on, we don't have huge differences. Is the racing on Sunday phenomenal?
No.
Not at all. We already
Is that
covered
enough
the.
to knock it out of my top 10?
No. But is the quali on Saturday the best quali of the year? Yes. Are the yachts in the harbor phenomenal? Yes. Did I run the Monaco track in a Skoda? I did. And so, therefore, for me, it's 11. Rob has it 8. It is our ninth track, Monaco.
I,
What do you want to add?
I agree. It's bizarre that a circuit that really doesn't offer us great racing can figure so highly for mainly completely sentimental
Yes.
reasons of nostalgia from the
We're
past, but
old.
also, like you say, it's beautiful environment that it's in. I've been there, I've walked the track, it's amazing. You've been there, you've driven the track. You've driven the track so badly. We had Pit Lane pulled a review of how badly you drove it. It has all these little sentimental reasons that make me gravitate towards it. And like you say, quali is just the best quali of
I'm
the
telling you,
season.
it's 6:15 on a Sunday morning in the middle of summer. It's really hard to do wrong. And then before it, we go to Italy. We go to Monza. We're at number 8. Monza's 8 for it's 9 for me, 10 for you, but we have many differentials before this, so it floats to 8. I love Monza, the Temple of Speed. I mean, like it is.
Yeah.
There's something, the history there. You go under the old banking. I love the first turn. I love when you come back around before the straight parabolica.
How about yeah,
It
yeah.
is just like it's a high speed, low downforce, skinny rear wing battle, and it's always close if it doesn't give us great overtakes.
Will I have to give back my F1 fandom card if I say it's almost as close as we get to oval racing in Formula One? Because there's
Yeah, it's
literally
the
hardly
Indy
any
500.
corners on it, right?
It's the
just,
Italy 500.
it just is. How fast can you make your car go? Like it's minimal downforce settings. Yeah, like you say, do we both beat it up a little bit that really the only overtakes a DRS into corner number 1? Yeah, maybe, but what it usually does is it delivers you into the braking zone, so it's a lunge into turn 1, which
Yeah,
I'm all here for lunges.
And it was your 10th. Like I said, it was my ninth. It is our 8th. I will say this, though, about it. You can say what you like about the overtakes and the DRS, and you can say it's kind of an oval, but the Tifosi, the importance of this to Ferrari, means it's really something. And when we learn about Alberto Ascari, go back to our Vale's
Yes.
tales about Ascari, the Ascari chicane is not some kind of thing he mastered. It's where he perished. And like these types of things have meaning. They have importance. And so Monza, our
Best
8th.
best podium of the year.
Agreed. Going to 7th, it is Canada.
This is my last one that I'm going to take
Umbrage.
umbrage with you, but
Yeah.
I am just going to say you
Yeah.
had it as 8th, so
I did.
inside your top 10. I had it as 4th, and
Yeah,
I
you
am
did.
totally willing to accept that my 4th, like, before I started this podcast, had I been asked, would I have had Canada in my top 5 tracks? Yes, I've always loved Canada. I always thought the Canadian Grand Prix is great. Is it maybe up into 4th and never going to leave that top 4 because of recency bias of us hanging out in the paddock in Canada? Probably.
Pat,
So
how about us just hanging out in our seats watching the grid form?
the fact that we've been there twice and once pit lane Paul was just generous beyond belief to get us into the pit
He's the
lane means
man.
that I'm surprised I didn't put this as number 1 because I feel so strongly about this sort of connection with Canada now that like it is in my top 5. I had it as 4th because the 3 that I will come to later, I couldn't look at myself in the mirror and legitimately put it ahead of those. But
I had it
I
8,
will.
and
I
again,
will
I don't.
admit it's recency bias. Yeah, it is.
And so it settles for us on our scores at 7th. It's a great track. It gives good racing. It's a great country. They encourage everybody to go to the Hooters before they go out to the park afterwards. We've never done that. And so I would just say, like, I enjoy Monaco. I enjoy Italy. But Canada, we've been there. We've loved it. Montreal's amazing, great city. A lot of walking. Do my feet hurt at the end? Yes.
Do you moan about it? Yes.
Yes. Do I sweat the whole time while moaning about it?
Oh yes.
Yes, but this time I held my pee as best I could. Point being,
Right, moving on.
I love Montreal, but is it the best racing? I could not say it was better than 8th for me.
No, that's fair. Like I say, I'm willing to admit that I'm completely being swayed by our whole pit lane and this year's experience as well. So that's fine.
So
it's all
moving
good.
to
I mean,
6th, who is
moving to
6th
sixth.
on our grid, Rob?
Well, you had them in 6th. I had them in 5th. We have Suzuka. Now, I will be the first to say that I think maybe the current ground effect regulations and the size of the cars have maybe taken Suzuka's racing action down a couple of notches over the last couple of years.
Agreed.
Like this year's one, we called it something like Sleepy Follow because it was just
Agreed.
no overtakes done, right? But because I'm old and because I can remember it from
As
the
am
late
I.
80s, I love this track. For me, it's always had fantastic racing, and I'm just hoping that these regs didn't quite jive with Suzuka, and next year in the new regs, we'll get back to it being a great racetrack as well. But scenery-wise, it's amazing. I just love this one because it's like someone really thought about this, that I want to bring all the elements. I want fast straights, I want fast corners, I want slow corners, I want a hairpin, I want it to be a figure of 8 so you go under a bridge. I mean, there's not much more that you could cram in to designing a racetrack. So just from a purist perspective, I just love the idea of Suzuka. I've really enjoyed all the races down the history.
Yeah.
In terms of ones I would want to go to, I would love to go to Japan. The scenery is amazing. I'd love to go there. It was top 5 for me. I think, like you say, we've got it in at 6th. So do you want us to take us on to what we had as number 5?
Would be happy to. So at 5, we move on from what is a traditionally great track in Japan to what is a newer street track in Azerbaijan. So launched in 2017, I think, if I'm going by memory, as a Grand Prix, but 2018 as the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Baku, phenomenal track. My 4th, your 7th, our collective 5th. I was talking about this, as I said briefly earlier at dinner tonight with a couple guys, and I said, if I had endless money, and I'm looking at you, Renato, I know you're invited, and now Paul from Detroit, because I've invited so many people, but if I had endless money, I would get one of those apartments with the balcony over the track. I love this track. It has a massive straight. It has corners up to the straight. It has 90-degree corners that lead you through the amazing castle aspect where Charles
the old
Leclerc
town is
Charles,
I am stupid. I am stupid.
famous team radio. I mean, I look at this track, it is technical yet fun, city yet still has the aspects of a real track, in my humble opinion. I love this. I would kill to go to this track, get one of those apartments with the balcony over the circuit, and just have the best time. So for me, Baku is the best street circuit, 4th overall on the entire grid. You have it 7th. Why didn't you have it 4th like me?
Because I couldn't score it ahead of Canada because we've been there and we've been in the pit lane and I screamed George. But anyway, I agree. You know that I beat up street tracks. Street tracks to me, A, they should be a small number of them, and B, they should offer something as to why they should exist as a street track. So Monaco it's got the marina, it's got the casino, it's got all the glitz and glamour of kind of that kind of opulence and money.
Agreed.
Baku's it's got the old town, it's got the castle. I mean, how many street tracks take you through a castle? Most street track these days. I mean, I will say, although I scored Miami more highly than you, scenery-wise, it's boring as hell. It's in a car park.
Yeah.
I mean, and lots of the street tracks are like that. They kind of find some industrial area that nobody is putting any money into to build property on or build business on. So they go, oh, let's just throw a street track down there. It'll look good. Let's do it at night so nobody can really see the background, and we'll throw some lights up there as well. Yeah, exactly. So, whereas Baku doesn't need any of that. It's a good track. We've had good racing. We get high speed. We get technical corners, and we get gorgeous scenery. So yeah, I'm happy Baku shook out maybe a little higher than I ranked it.
So everybody who listens, this is a call to you, all Dirty Siders. Make sure we find a sponsor so we can go to Baku, so we can enjoy this track in person and report back, because it is just phenomenal. And yes, it is on the, what's the sea it's on? I'm trying to find it.
The Azerbaijani
Caspian Sea.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So Paul G, you're wrong. I was wrong. It's the Caspian Sea that it is on. But we will be there one day.
What I would say is, if you've been listening to this whole episode, A, thank you for sticking with us this long. But B, if you have the money to bid on that McLaren F1, just don't. Just save your money. We wouldn't need 23 million. Just give us the 3, and we can run this podcast professionally, and we can host a big party in Baku next season.
Or Baku. And so we have 4th and 3rd next. And these 2, we still have little deltas. 1 and 2, we won't. And so coming in at our 4th position is COTA. U.S. Circuit of the Americas. It was my 3rd. It was your 6th. I'm assuming it's your anti-American bias, why it was so low.
Well, I find this really weird that I'm championing. If you look at my USA rankings,
yeah, you like Miami and Vegas, but you don't like COTA.
Well, it was in my top 10, which I actually surprised myself. When I was ranking these, I was like...
It was a podium for me.
Yeah, I mean, I find that a little extreme given what you put it ahead of, but I love COTA. I mean, I absolutely love COTA.
Not as much as me.
Discussed it. The run up the first hill to the first corner, the kind of the flowing section after that, where you have to obviously nail all of those corners in sequence, otherwise you screw the rest of the lap. I mean, one I'd love to go to, one that's outside my affordability to go to, unfortunately. But I just think it's a proper racetrack. It's if I was going to get a little bit sentimental and wish that F1 didn't need to put on shows to attract eyeballs to the sports, and we could just go to real racetracks. When people say, Watkins Glen, Laguna Seca or whatever, we should have real racetracks that are being brought back. I'm like, yeah, they should all be like COTA, because COTA's a real racetrack. We've had great action. We've had Alonso launching into space. Who did he?
Stroll. It was Stroll. It was future
Stroll,
teammate.
Wasn't it? It was Stroll.
Future teammate. Next year's teammate. He ran over. Stroll ran him over, and Alonso goes, "Hey, that's Lance. All right, it's fine."
We've had great battles into that first corner. Yeah, I love COTA. I just couldn't put it in my top 5.
Well, for me, it was 3. I loved it. And as we go to the podium positions, on the 3rd step, Spa. And again, I was with some friends tonight, a couple F1 fans, couple not. And the Aussie guy, Paul, said, I love Spa. And we said, why do you put an R on the end of it? He goes, I don't do that. You guys always say I do. So for all Aussies out there, and I know there are a lot of you listen, stop putting R's on the end of your words. But regardless, for us, podium 3, Rob's very confused.
How did you say Spa? Well, you don't call it Spa.
Spa.
So you got an R on the end?
No, Spa. Not Spar.
Okay, so maybe he puts 2 R's on the end. But what I'm saying is, SPA had no R on the end. You'd call it Spa. It's
Spa.
Yeah. Spa. Listen to the R that you put on the end. Anyway, never mind.
If I'd like a treatment at the spa, there's no R involved. Regardless, 3rd step on the podium, 5th for me.
Paul, I've got your back.
Rob.
I've got your back, Paul. I've got your back.
Paulie
Brian's
G.
wrong.
Listen to Rob. We both agree the Belgium Grand Prix is amazing. And here's the problem for me, why it's 5th. The last few years, the races haven't been that great. This car doesn't work at Spa.
No, it does. I would say the last couple of years, yes, but the last few years have been ruined by rain because the current reg of
2021 cars, like a note.
Oh my gosh. The current round of the way that we race in the rain doesn't seem to lend itself to these cars and Spa put together. We had
Agreed.
Was 2021 the one where we didn't even have any racing?
2 laps around. Okay. And Lewis had the thing in the toilet and George was second.
That's right. And this year was the one where they just wait till it to dry out, and it just screwed a lot of people over because they had wet setups for a drying track. So whatever is the problem with ground effect cars and water, yeah, Spa's taking a bit of a hit because Spa notoriously in the past has been a fantastic wet race. We always
Yes.
rain here at some point over the
Agreed.
weekend. It's gorgeous scenery. I would love to go there. I'd love to do the track walk and go up Eau Rouge and all that kind of stuff. So for me, I had this in third. You had it in fifth, and it ended up agreeing with me, and we had it on the third step of our podium because
And
I'm going to be so upset when this goes into rotation.
me too.
It'll be on next year, and then we'll lose it for. Is it one or is it two?
We lose it for 2 of the next 6 years in the rotation, and it's never 2 in a row. But speaking of 2, we have a tie for first. There are 2 tracks that Rob and I agree are either first or second on the podium, and they are phenomenal. And like at this point, yes, is the racing at Spa occasionally not perfect? Is Coda maybe not what we want it to be? Baku, Suzuka, yeah. But we cannot disagree on these 2. These 2 are the premiere of what we want to watch. Britain and Brazil. So, Rob, I'll let you put whatever you like on the top step because I'm good with either. I love both.
I love both of these. Ever since we first started, even before we recorded our first episode, and we were just talking about our love of F1, I think we've both agreed that Silverstone and Interlagos are just brilliant, brilliant tracks. And I will be 100% honest and say the only thing that I can think separates the 2 of them for me is my British passport.
And for me, the fact that you can run a sprint race at Brazil and it never disappoints, and the weather is so variable that Ruben's grandma is called to figure out what's going on at Interlagos. Like, I love Silverstone. I've been there. I've been on a Friday. It was phenomenal. I was in the pit lane. Thank you, Paul. It was great. Loved it. Toured the paddock. If I had to choose the tiebreak between Silverstone and Interlagos, I'd go Interlagos. Now, I'm not Paul. I've never had guns pulled on me. I've never been, like, robbed in Brazil. But watching from afar, man, I would choose Interlagos over Silverstone by the narrowest of margins. Like, they're tied. It just Interlagos finished first.
Whereas I would be the opposite. So can we get them to both stand
Yes.
on the top step? And,
Yes.
Oh, phenomenal.
Yes. So the dirty side ranking of the 2026 tracks, the number 1 track is a tie between Silverstone and Interlagos.
I was waiting for you to play a sound effect there. I
The
thought you were
number
gonna have some
1
big-
ranking between the dirty side tracks is a tie between Silverstone and Interlagos. Wait, hold on, that was the wrong one.
Third time lucky, third time's a charm.
No, I did it on purpose. That was how it's supposed to work.
No, come on, here we go. Do it again. Final
Oh
time.
my God. The 2026 F1 tracks dirty side rank is a tie between Britain and Brazil.
Oh my god. You know, I will keep you here all night until you press the cheer button. I mean, it's fine. Just I bet you can't find it. That's the problem, isn't it? You don't know where the cheer
I
button
have
is.
it. It's right here.
No, you don't. Hey, there we go.
There we go.
Whew. Well, there you go.
All right,
The
we filled
roundup
1
of-
week.
I was going to say the roundup of 2026 that you didn't know you needed. Not only is F1 on a shutdown, but I think we are on our content ideas as well.
I'm
But,
excited for 2026. These are great tracks. Like, there's no losers here. For me, honestly, I know we joked about this, but like the top 18 or so, I'm great with. And it's like 6 races where I know we're going to have duds, and I just brace for a dud. Do we have some duds in the good track? Sure. But I love 18 of these tracks. I love them.
I mean, when we look at this, right, joking aside, even kind of our big deltas, other than Bahrain, which I mean, let's just forget pickleball. Let's just skirt over your bizarre relationship with Bahrain. But anything else that we really disagreed on, it was never kind of like you had it as your worst and I had it as my best. It was always really kind of almost like the battle of the midfield.
Yeah.
I had it higher up the midfield or lower, and you vice versa. I mean, pretty much in the main, quite disappointingly, we seem to agree on a lot of things, which is very disappointing. But
Like I said, Mexico, Madrid, Abu Dhabi, Hungary, Qatar, maybe Singapore. Those are the ones we don't love. After that, we're ready for it.
Although, part of me is, did Hungary redeem itself a little bit last week? We had
No.
decent racing.
One
so
good race does not make a good track.
I know. We'll have to see how the 2020. I mean, that's the great unknown, right? Is that we have no idea how the new regulation cars are going to go around these circuits,
Nope.
and this could be turned on its head, and Mexico could be the best race we've seen
Oh my
in a
God!
decade.
No, it will not.
But
be.
I doubt
do not
it.
joke. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right, Rob. Anything else before we close?
No, we're going to be busy trying to come up with ideas that are as equally as amazing as this for next week, or maybe get a guest, but we're not quite sure yet. So, if you have amazing ideas for content that you'd like to hear on the dirty side, get in touch.
A great success!
And with that, it's time to close. Everyone have a great week. Be well. We'll talk to you in 1 week's time.